We are live on a Monday for a live Locked On Lions squad show, recapping the combine. Jake Riepma, Natalie Kerwin Bradford Banta. Nat, a road show for you. How are we this morning?
We are good. We are reporting live from sunny Orlando this morning, and I'm soaking it all in before we head to cold Cleveland. So we're living the life. We got vitamin D. I'm a happy girl.
I tell you what, Nat, I don't know how to follow that up, but all I know is that we're getting a little vitamin D up here in Detroit. We have sun, but we don't have the temperatures that you have. But I do know that trade requests don't get leaked by accident. If Monty wanted out, his agent's phone would be doing the talking, not just a rumor.
One pride. It's the Lions. One pride. It's the Lions Squad. Everything Detroit Lions every week. Breaking down all the big hits and game-changing plays from the Motor City. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. From the roar of the Lions to the next great chapter, the Lions Squad Show starts now.
Yeah, the Lions Squad show starts right now as soon as I can figure out how to press the button for the intro video, which, by the way, I need like a GoPro on me at all times. I'm pressing the GD button, play. It won't go. Panic. It's awkward silence. It's all my fault. But hey, we are live on a Monday. Isn't that when you say, oh, that's the most Monday thing to happen so far? I hate when people say that, but there I go saying
And thank God I didn't say it because I was about to.
That is another show idea, I must say. GoPro Live.
Yeah.
GoPro Live. And either we all three do it or one of us does it during the show, and just to see what everybody's looking at.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I with my ADHD, I'm all over the place looking around. I got to keep the window open next to me to see the birds flying around. But hey, here we go. Live Locked On Lions squad show. Jake Riepma, Natalie Kerwin, Bradford Banta. We've got a great show on tap. David Montgomery, latest, the trade rumors. He said, she said, maybe a little Twitter, tweets, X, whatever you want to call it, all mixed in there. We'll do our free agency deep dive. Tight ends are up next. Lots to discuss there. And we will wrap up the combine. Today's show is brought to you by, who is it brought to you by? FanDuel. That's right, your profit boost. It's time to use it on an NBA future and get entered for your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Did I mention this is the #1 podcast platform? I don't know if I did, but it is the Locked On Podcast Network. I know, Bradford Banta. Can you believe it? But guys, it's always good to get together on a Monday. If you're in the chat, say hello. We got a lot of people saying hello already. How about that? Raven Feather, that's a cool username. Raven Feather 8926 says, "Hey guys," and our rerun 651 says, "Morning. Thank you for this show." Hey, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. I get to hang out with my two closest friends, Natalie Kerwin and Bradford Banta, read some commercials, and put on some other company lines and have a great show. What could be better?
Absolutely nothing.
Just talking about the fans. Let's just talk about them for just a second. Got a little bit of a story. So going to work, starting early. No, went to go work out Saturday morning, and I was walking through the locker room at the gym, and the guy comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, you Bradford Banta?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You know what? You do." Yeah, he goes, "All three of y'all do a great job on the Locked On Lions squad show." And I'm like, "You know what? Thank you. I appreciate it." Yeah. So a little shout out to the Locked On crowd, and got a little fan base, a little recognition, because normally, you just walk into the gym, you go do your workout and get done. But he pulled me aside and he's like, "Hey," he's like, I really enjoy listening to what y'all talk about, because it's any and all. We never know what's coming." I go, "That is a fact." Yeah. He sure did.
Very accurate.
That's what makes us fun, though. You can't always just be so serious all the time. You gotta, whatever flies. Like, that's what I appreciate.
That's amazing. Number one, my head's not going to be able to fit on the screen anymore. I'm going to get so
His
cocky.
ego's just
Oh yeah. Although it is very, very appropriate that you were recognized, Bradford Banta. You are the face of the Locked On Lions Squad show.
Yeah.
Nat and I are just here to add a little bit of colorful commentary and go from there. But
yeah.
we also
Well, I mean, here's the thing. This is the only thing I can be identified with. It's just the Lions, unlike, Dallas, where some of us are located and who knows where other of us are located. But we also have the Pistons in the mix as well with you two. So, I'm just like, well, yeah, I'm doing the Lions. So
Yeah.
I'll just sit back here and listen. So
I love it.
That's awesome. Well, if they're listening today, thank you. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Made our day. Absolutely made our day. I get a little uncomfortable with positive feedback and encouragement because I'm far more used to some of the other ones. I mentioned I filled in for Derry.
Don't host
for
Derry. Don't host for Matt.
So Thursday and Friday, I thought it went great. Commenters might have had a different feeling, which is probably my biggest problem in this industry. I always think it goes great, and then you read the comments, you're like, this guy. Rah, rah, rah.
So people just aren't agreeing with you, or they're like, we miss Derry.
No, there were a couple comments that were so nice, like, oh, Riepma does a great job, blah 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 blah. So, but there were a few who didn't love what I was bringing to the table, but that's okay. Keeps you hungry, keeps you humble. And keeps your nose down to the ground, because when you get the compliments like Bradford, and you get recognized, complacency can set in. Like, oh, we've arrived. We're recognized. We're getting recognized at the gym. That's peak Locked On Lions Squad show visibility there. But all right, David Montgomery. We have the next chapter. I'm not ready to call it a saga yet because this is just part of business, but it's the next development, if you will, with ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reporting that David Montgomery wants out. And I think that's important to set the parameters of all of this, that it's not me or Natalie Kerwin or Bradford Banta or the Lions. It's an ESPN report from Jeremy Fowler. Now, David Montgomery quote tweeted not the direct report. It was one that was being aggregated by a different outlet. So I'm not even going to give them credit, but basically said that Demo said this kind of question mark type of thing. So there's a little bit of back and forth. He said, she said. This isn't the first this whole notion has been brought up with David Montgomery perhaps being on the trade block. But Bradford, I'll kick it to you first, and we'll go to Nat. Bradford first. The just noise around David Montgomery, we know this is a possibility, but it feels like it's a little bit escalated based on just the report coming out from ESPN.
Yeah, I knew you were going to ask that question, and part of me goes to where there's smoke, there's fire,
right?
And he wants out. What are the trade possibilities? What can you get for him? The beauty of possibly trading for or trading away David Montgomery, or trading for David Montgomery, if he were to go to another team, is that you are going to get a productive back that still has years in the league, has established himself as one of the better backs in the league in a duo type form. And what and you have that tread, but look, if you're a team that wants to trade for him and to get or to give away what they're reporting, possibly a high third day pick to get that type of performance from David Montgomery on a week in, week out basis, kudos to you if you can pull that trade off. I think it'll be very beneficial. I know reports saying out there right now is that Seattle would be an ideal landing spot depending on what happens with Kenneth Walker in his situation. But you also have to monitor. Let's say they happen to put Kenneth Walker franchise tag or something of that nature, for a 1-year deal for Kenneth Walker. In the Seattle situation, you also have to monitor what is going on with Zach Charbonnet, who got injured at the end of the season. And is he going to be able to bounce back from that injury? Other possible, trade partners is you never know this time of year, because what is it? Today's the 2nd. So in 9 days, we have free agency starting full bore. And then at the end of April, that's when the draft happens. So there's, I've said it once, I've said it before, I've said it many times. There is so much that can happen.
You guys, I'm so sorry. I am so okay. I'm interrupting. Breaking news. This is crazy. This has never happened to us before. Live. This is why you do it live, folks. I have my Twitter notification set up for Schefter and Rappaport. Just got a Twitter notification from Ian Rappaport. The Lions are trading standout running back David Montgomery to the Texans, landing Houston a productive power back per the NFL insiders. A 5th-round pick goes back to Detroit as Knuckles leaves Sonic.
Wow.
What?
How about them apples?
Wow.
5th round.
It's the real Ian Rappaport, 5 million followers. I'm making sure I'm not getting got.
I'll look just to back
Yeah.
you up
Let's
here.
get a second source.
Just so we don't get.
Gosh. Whoa. We are live.
Nat.
Yep. Schefter,
thank you for doing the show at 10:45.
Yeah.
Monday morning.
You're welcome. You are welcome, Brad.
This was all over Nat. This is all on Nat. She said we got to do a show first thing Monday morning. She knew. Why didn't you break
10:45?
Yes.
On the dot.
Why didn't you break the news before Rappaport and Schefter if you knew all along?
I wanted to just keep it a surprise and see your guys' reactions, and for Jake to go, guys,
yeah,
hold on. He was tweaking out for a second. I thought, what's going on over there?
I really handled that well, because when we're live on a show, I typically don't have my phone in front of me unless I'm using it for the show. But it was my watch that dinged, and I saw the Twitter, and you can see when you have a notification on your watch, it was Ian Rappaport. And I thought, I'll just look at this. And then the first word was the Lions. And I was like, oh boy, here we go.
There's the fire. There's the fire. There you go.
Oh my gosh. Well, we've got the rest of the show mapped out for you now. That's why you do it live. You do it live. Immediate reactions.
I tell you, so interesting tidbit just about this possibility, right? Whenever we had Rhett Lewis talking, about how some of this stuff goes down at the combine. So, let's just kind of map it out. I'm not sure how they have the suites and how they are all, how they place them. But if they were to put them in alphabetical order, Detroit is only right down the way from Houston. And so they're passing each other every day, and being like, hey, let's talk. Hey, let's talk. What do you want to talk about? What do you know about David Montgomery? So just throwing it out there. That's how some of these deals get done. Not only in St. Elmo's, but also in Lucas Oil Stadium during the combine. So I would imagine the groundwork started getting laid last week.
No, you're absolutely right. I also find it the return right before, literally before it went official, we were talking about the return and possible landing spots. And you think about a 3rd-round pick, maybe a 4th-round pick, but 5th-round pick for David Montgomery. Maybe
that's
more.
My immediate reaction.
Yeah. And that's your guy. Angry runs. You're taking him.
I wasn't going to go there.
Too
soon.
It's too soon. It's too fresh.
Just kidding. I've had a little bit of time more than Rappaport to marinate on this. But
I do all along. But I just, my whole spiel when we were going to talk about the potential future of David Montgomery was to look in the rear view mirror of how good it was, not this past season, but the previous year under a connected, productive offensive line. And if that becomes the focal point of repairing that offensive line, the natural progression and maybe even assumption would be David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs could get back to that complementary two-headed monster that was unstoppable in 2024 largely. And to, I don't want to say, wave the white flag and send him off for a 5th round pick. I feel a little bit of emptiness for the return. I was hoping it would be a little bit more.
I'm shocked. Like, I don't know how many seasons now he's in his playing time, if any of you guys know, but he's not at the level where you'd be able to trade him for a 5th rounder. I think that's crazy. I mean, 3rd or 4th, absolutely. If not, maybe even a little higher with what he's able to do, what we were able to see with him and Gibbs together. And I truthfully thought, he would be perfect under what Drew Petzing is going to want to do. He built his offenses around controlling the run game in Arizona, around James Conner, and they had a lot of success there when all of their guys were healthy. And so I envisioned it getting back to what it was. And so, obviously what we were originally going to hit on, the he said, she said, the rumors, all this and that, I truthfully thought he wanted to stay. And he made it sound like that too. So I'm a little shocked by this. I don't think the Lions are getting a fair return. Not for his level of talent. Not 5th round worthy.
You're looking at a player that has completed 7 years in the league.
Is it 7? Okay.
So it's like previously stated, I don't think he's leaking oil yet. This term that I use a lot of times. I think that in just previously stated, like we talked about at the beginning of the show, I believe he has a lot of tread left on the tire. And I think this is I think it'll be a good fit for the Houston Texans. But to break up the Sonic and Knuckles, the Lions are going to have something in place now. Are they going to remedy that via the draft or via free agency? Time will tell, but you're going to have to get a back that is very similar to his running style to get back to that Sonic and Knuckles 2, so to speak, as opposed to, because I mean, everybody knows, and I've said it plenty of times, I just felt like we should have used Gibbs, splitting him out, putting him in the slot, use both of them on the field at the same time. And 5th round pick, look, it's fair. It's a fair deal. And I'm just somebody who's been there, done that. All right. So a better question to ask y'all is, what would have been a better draft pick to get for him? That's a question I pose to you two.
Right. I mean, obviously you'd want, like we were just talking about, the projected, because again, this is all happening in real time. That's the beauty of it happening live. But when we first started our conversation, you're talking about a day 3 pick earlier than a 5th round pick. And projections are just that. They're just trying to speculate and predict what could the market be. And I think we can all agree that if that market wasn't there, then obviously Brad Holmes and the rest of the front office are going to do their due diligence and go through the process of manufacturing this deal and what it looks like. So the 5th round pick, if that's what the market dictated, then, you're kind of at the mercy of exactly that and what the market dictated. But this is a new experience for all of us, with a major development and breaking news happening live. That's why we do it live. So the beauty of the live audience is we can filter in some comments here. So Nat, I'll kick it over to you. Your thoughts. I'm going to scroll through some of these best comments that we can throw up on the screen as we have an extended first segment here on the live Locked On Lions Squad show with the David Montgomery trade to the Houston Texans official.
Yeah, I mean, see, I think a 5th round, without knowing the details and what the market was they were trying to figure out this deal. I just think 5th round, you practically gave him away. That's how I personally feel.
Okay. Can I interject a little bit? And this is
Yeah.
coming from Tom Pelissero.
Okay.
Yeah, NFL Network. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's saying the Texans are going to send their 4th round pick, offensive lineman, Juice Scruggs, and a 7th rounder for Montgomery.
Okay, I'm seeing that as well.
That's
Oh.
what's being reported. So, so you get a little bit more juice.
There's
Yeah.
a little more than
juice
that.
That's right.
All right, guys.
So-
All right, I'll do some comments and then
I was gonna say, let's throw them in.
a wild thought for you guys. This is all
Let's
developing. Rerun says the 5th is pretty low. Same thought process there. He's almost 29 statistically, not going to be producing as usual. Anthony Hill Jr. Max. There's a lot going on there for who to trade back for. That's my bad. I should click the wrong button here. I liked this one though. Urging Bradford not to get too emotional, and you know, Bradford, you're really an emotional guy. Gosh, I just had it. Now I
Can't
lost
you tell?
it.
Yeah, Valerie.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Or no, I lost it. But basically, the comment said, "Don't get too emotional, Bradford." So we're here. Oh yeah, here it is. Don't get too emotional, Banta. Sonic and Knuckles were fun. This is a business. So there you go.
Valerie, I am well aware that this is a business. I get it.
All right, this is a different tone from Arthur. It's amazing the overreaction to Montgomery. The dude averaged 3 carries less per game last year in 2024. A lot of that was because they didn't have the lead late in games to run out the clock. Yeah, he was. I mean, he's that what do they call it? Bell cow between the tackles, the old school. Not that I don't think Gibbs can't be that guy, but he was definitely notorious for that and the angry runs. So, all right, yeah, more coming in here as far as the actual compensation. So it's a 4th rounder, Juice Scruggs, and a 7th rounder. So we're loading up that draft capital. I have an idea of why the Lions might be loading up that draft capital, and let's just say maybe it's in with a bigger trade in mind down the road. We'll see. Let's continue to get the reaction, the comments, and we'll push our deep dive of the free agency by position group and the tight ends to later in the program, and write out one more segment on the David Montgomery trade live. It happened live right here on the Locked On Lions Squad Show. That's why you subscribe. That's why you join the live broadcast. And that's why we're the #1 sports podcast platform in the entire world. Back with more next. But first, today's show is brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. And college basketball is nonstop. Big games, tight spreads, momentum swings every single night. From early tip-offs to late-night West Coast shootouts, there's always action on the board. And now FanDuel is giving you a way to turn that energy into even bigger potential wins with a college basketball parlay profit boost. You can build any college hoops parlay, anyone you want, rivalry games, ranked matchups, whatever fits your desire. You can mix spreads, totals, and player props to match how you see the slate playing out. And you can apply the profit boost and instantly bump up the potential payout. Go safe or go bold. Ride with the team you've been following all season. It's your parlay, your style, now with more upside behind it. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel, play your game. David Montgomery traded. The Detroit Lions sending David Montgomery to the Houston Texans for a 4th, Juice Scruggs, and a 7th round pick. So the compensation heating up. Still a little bit of a sad day. Nat, I'm reading. I'm seeing it in your eyes. That there's at least a smile, but and it's okay. Like, we love these guys. They're our guys, and even though it was only 3 years in Detroit, he had such a great impact on the team, and it's a bummer. But Bradford, don't get too emotional.
Yeah, Yeah, that's gonna be our line now. He's like, let me grab my.
Yeah. No, it is sad though. I'm bummed, man. I liked David Montgomery.
Me too, and like it's a good locker room figure that you're gonna miss. He was a fan favorite. He was an Angry Runs favorite. I bought a shirt with him on it. People. Also,
Yeah,
I also
the
got
important stuff.
Come on, that's a big deal. Just overall good guy. I feel like he handled his business well. Even last year, not having as much time on the field, I feel like he handled it right. He didn't go out and complain all too much. This off-season drama over the last couple of days between ESPN and him and whatever. But besides that, I mean, I think it's just a guy that you're gonna miss. When you coin a nickname here with Sonic and Knuckles, now it's just Sonic. And it's sad. It's just not the same. But you know what? You do want the best for these guys too at the same time, right? And so hopefully he finds his way, with lots of playing time in Houston. But they got what? They got Joe Mixon. That shirt is a throwback now.
Yeah, that's
That's
supposed to make you feel better. From Corey Patterson. That shirt is a throwback now. Maybe it'll be worth more.
Maybe that's true. Oh, good point. Okay, I could sell it.
Yeah,
you're giving me ideas now, Corey. So yeah, those are my instant reactions though. Yeah, I mean, I'm smiling right now, but there's a tear or two inside.
I do. I think you make a great point, though, that we often look, obviously, it's Locked On Lions. So from a Lions perspective, but look at the Houston Texans. That's 3 years in a row. They've made a significant investment and move. You mentioned Joe Mixon. The last year with an injured Joe Mixon, it was Nick Chubb, who was a big name trying to reinvent his career, obviously with so many productive years with the Browns, but injuries, kind of leading to the end there. And now this year, David Montgomery. So I feel like the Texans got to be the most active team in the NFL with blockbuster major deals. I think Nick Caserio, their general manager, is just he's always making moves and always moving pieces. I think he gets bored or something.
Something. I don't know.
Yeah, I just think they want to solidify their running back position because last year a lot of the workload went on to Woody Marks at the running back position. I was just going to say
Woody too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and just with the Mixon situation, I don't know what his contract is, but now, they're getting a proven player that has produced and has shown up for game after game after game.
Yeah.
They know he's going to be out on the field, but with this being a Locked On Lions squad show, we're talking Detroit, talking to Detroit Lions. So one of the things, and we haven't talked about this or haven't touched on it yet, is with the 4th and 7th rounder, we now get Juice Scruggs. What position does Juice Scruggs play?
Offensive line.
Offensive line. What position?
whatever Patsy really decide.
Yeah.
No.
Was that a trick question?
No, not a trick question. He is a center. A center. So it was, I think it was a strategic move by Detroit Lions in an attempt to try to solidify that center position. So in looking back at his past history, he was a 2nd round pick in the 23 draft, talking about Juice Scruggs. And he's going to come in. He will compete for the starting center position. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him as the starter there. So, yeah. So it's just, but we'll see. I mean, there's moves that are happening, and whether it happens via free agency or the draft, they are going to bring another back in, I wouldn't call it a bruiser back type player, but that's what I would be looking for out of the Detroit Lions in the I'd say within the foreseeable future here.
All right, guys. I just texted my Houston Texans guy that runs one of the biggest Texans YouTube channels. Shout out Jeremy Chugs, Texans Live. I said, how about that trade? How's Juice Scruggs? He's no good. He's below average at best. That's coming from my Texans guy. But hey, that's one person. That's one person. You know how we get it when we watch our guys day in, day out, and especially at the O-line, maybe some penalties and some missed blocks. And let's see. 4th round pick could be Washington's. Not sure. Oh, because the Texans have Washington's 4th round pick. But if it's a top pick in round 4, good on you guys. So we'll see. I think there's more value in the picks than old Juice Scruggs. But admittedly, I'm not breaking down. I'm not going there. I'm not breaking down Texans offensive line play here on the Locked On Lions squad show. But we do appreciate all of the comments and working through our breaking news exercise here. Natalie Kerwin, it reminded me of the journalism school days. I'm sure you guys did that at Michigan State. Bro, breaking news. What's the process here? Validate.
Exactly. Validate. Do your research. Check your sources. All the things.
Shoot then aim, right? Shoot then aim, right?
Yeah. Ready.
That's journalism 101.
Yes. Ready, fire, and aim later. That's future us problems. Be first.
So I was looking up some info on Juice Scruggs, and I have one fun fact just to make this fun.
Even more
but
fun
actually,
than
maybe I
Juice.
It's how he got his name, Juice.
Oh,
what happened? How did he get it?
It's how he got the name. He earned his nickname as a baby for preferring juice over milk. That's literally what it says.
Big juice guy.
Big juice guy. Yep. 2nd round pick in 2023. Plays right guard and center. That's about all I got so far on Juice, but wanted to do a quick little Google search on him.
That's the journalist in you. I do think this comment is interesting from Arthur Fonzarelli. That's a fun name. Speaking of fun names, 9828. Lions spent a ton on Vaikai. He needs to be the backup, or he was a wasted draft pick. He's a great personal protector on the punt team. He caught the one fake punt there. And Bradford, don't laugh at me, Bradford. I'm a special teams guy like you. Come on, there's value.
I know.
There's value in a personal protector.
There is. Hey, I mean, I firsthand experience, right. Taysom Hill all the way. I'll freaking
Taysom Hill.
Let's go play. Let's go play. Oh, but yeah, no, it's the room's going to take shape over the next few months here, and then we'll see where the cards fall. We'll see where they fall. Whenever everything is said and done, and then they start forming this 90-man roster heading into training camp or even heading into OTAs. So it'll be good to see.
I know he went to Utah, but I'm trying to look at what round was he picked. I'm sure.
Who's this, Baki?
Yeah.
No, I'm not sure.
Because he played defensive back at Utah too. But I do agree that maybe it's time for him to step up and earn that second running back spot, or maybe a late round pick in the draft of some of the available running backs that might fall later in the draft. There, obviously, Jeremiah Love, Nicholas Singleton from Penn State, Mike Washington from Arkansas. Those are your top 3 running backs. But Indiana, what do they have? The dude from Indiana is the 9th ranked running back at the list I'm looking at right now. Black is his last name. I forget his first. Kalon Black or Kaleon Black. He was very explosive. And anytime you got a guy from a national championship team, I feel like that resonates more because we watched him more. And like any human nature, the guy you watch is the guy you like.
The power of public opinion.
Yes.
So that's it.
Let's keep it rolling. We'll wrap it up. Final thoughts. David Montgomery traded. We plan to talk about the tweets and the rumors, but it turns out maybe Jeremy Fowler and his ESPN report was onto something. The Lions moved quickly. If you're just joining us live, the Lions have traded David Montgomery to the Houston Texans for 4th, 7th, and Juice Scruggs. Juice Scruggs, the offensive lineman. The center. There you go, Bradford Banta. But I think obviously it's the first of many dominoes to fall for what is expected to be an eventful offseason, and the right conversations were had at the combine, and Bradford Banta. Don't get too emotional, but that's just the NFL for you.
I saw a great, I'm looking at just what the general Twitter consensus is saying about all of this, and I found a great fan tweet. Someone said, I need some gin and Sonic after this debacle.
That's good. That's good.
Crazy. Mixed opinions on this. Mixed opinions. A lot of fans are sad, is what I'm getting, which, relatable.
Yeah.
I think you're going to find that's going to be the general sentiment throughout the Detroit area, and just the Detroit fans' response, which is natural, because that duo, so to speak, really endeared themselves to the community of Detroit, and and they produced, because they were, oh gosh, what we talked about it during the season. They were the whenever they scored, what was it, combined touchdowns or something like that. It was a stat that came out that whenever both of them scored a touchdown, or they set some record, I believe it was, as far as a tandem within the first 3 years of being together. It was like 36 games where they each scored a touchdown in the same game. So they produced a lot of points,
because they broke Emmett Smith and Moose Johnson.
That's
right?
it.
Yeah, because he was
Yes.
on the call when they broke it against
Yes.
the Cincinnati Bengals. And
That's it.
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, super cool. And that got a lot of attention here in Dallas, obviously breaking Emmett Smith and Daryl Johnson's record. So yeah, I think too, it's the back of my mind. We haven't brought this up yet. I had the same affinity and admiration and fandom for Jamal Williams when he when he led the NFL in touchdowns that year, the final year of the Lions not making the playoffs. So what would that have been? 2022? Because they made it in 2023 and 2020. Yeah, 2022, he led the league in touchdowns, and what just a fan favorite, and everybody loved him, but he just wanted too much. And then unfortunately, it's the business part of the NFL reared its I don't want to say ugly head, but just the reality of it all. And he went on to Bradford Banta's Saints and hasn't really been the same since. I mean, I don't even know if he's still with the Saints, but
I don't either. I haven't heard his name in a while.
Yeah, after leading the NFL, and I think he broke Barry Sanders' record that season for most rushing touchdowns in a single season for the Lions.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's so, you can't get, and that's the business side of it. You can't get too tied to an individual player, because, I mean, unfortunately, you're seeing it more and more in college, if not more. You're seeing it more in college, where just it's shifting of puzzle pieces from one place to the next. And this is the business side, and it's been going on in the NFL for as long as, since 1993. So with the advent of true free agency, where players are able to move, and with the trades, everything that happens behind the scenes, then you're able to mix and match, and supposedly, everything's a roll of the dice, but putting players in your team's position to come out a winner. And I believe that's what the Detroit Lions are trying to do. Now, the proof's going to be in the pudding in the coming season. But like I said, we still have, the beginning of March. So we still have, so what, 3 months? No, 5 months. 5 months until the beginning of training camp. And then we'll see how everything unfolds from there.
Just to clarify some of the records that we were talking about earlier, I have 3 that both Sonic and Knuckles accomplished together. Most games with both running backs scoring a touchdown in NFL history. first running back duo to each score 10+ touchdowns in consecutive seasons, and the Lions were undefeated when both players scored a touchdown. So those are
Wow.
just three of, I mean, I know there's a few others on top of it as well, but those are three that I see here. And yeah, they were obviously really successful together, but it's a new era. It's a new era. We got
Yeah.
Drew Petzing in town.
Yeah.
He's going to have his way with Jahmyr Gibbs. And if it's Sione Vaki as the number 2, then who knows? TBD. I don't think so, but I agree with you, Bradford. But
Rocky's got to keep being the personal protector. Stay healthy. And
there you go. Everyone's got their role.
Yeah, I feel like Green Day sad song, like when your last day of 8th grade, should be playing in the background right now. It's something unpredictable, but in the end, it's like,
that's right.
I hope you had the time of you. I'm gonna miss you, Timo.
Only had my Angry Run shirt here.
Yeah, seriously.
Hold it up.
All right. We'll keep the momentum going. It's a live show with some breaking news. That's what you sign up for in the Locked On Lions Squad show. We will do our deep dive next on the tight end room in free agency on the Locked On Lions Squad show.
Oh yeah.
Today's episode of the Locked On Lions Squad show is brought to you by Indeed. Workplace chaos, deadlines, they're stacking up. Your inbox is overflowing, and the one position you have to fill is still sitting wide open. When the pressure's on, you need the right hire, and this is a job for sponsored jobs. Indeed sponsored jobs help you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for, the skills, the experience, the location, all of it. So you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're looking to hire, how about you spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed sponsored jobs? And when you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. Listeners of the Locked On Lions Squad show get $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Indeed.com/podcast right now, and support the Locked On Lions Squad show by telling them you heard about Indeed on the Locked On Lions Squad show. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. If you need to hire, this is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. Locked On Lions Squad show. Jake Riepma, Natalie Kerwin, Bradford Banta. Breaking news: the Lions have traded David Montgomery to the Houston Texans for 4.
Don't get too emotional, Bradford.
That's right. We're just going to keep projecting that onto Bradford as clearly the least emotional of the three of us. But it's the ongoing series that people have been clamoring more for and setting up their notifications for the next time the Locked On Lions Squad show goes live, for when they will discuss what position group the Lions will do in free agency. Today's group is the tight end group. Which that was my Thursday show on Locked On Lions when I was filling in for Matt Derry, that there was the ESPN article that listed Sam Laporta as a potential trade candidate. Obviously, that ain't happening. And I,
Says who?
Yeah, who said that?
Who said Sam Laporta was on the trade block?
Is it like a reputable?
ESPN.com. Ever heard of them? No, it was one of those headline catching articles that said the most 15 tradable players in the NFL, that all scenarios that would make sense. And for the Sam Laporta, he was listed as number 8 in the entire NFL of players that make sense to trade because of the contract, because of the Lions' really number of, basically saying how well the Lions have drafted over the last several years, where they have all these guys coming up to the end of their rookie deal. And do you move on from Sam Laporta now in a trade to be able to, obviously have a huge return on it with the injury questions and with the future contract questions? It's all basically hypothetical, but it is at least an exercise to kind of evaluate what the Lions tight end room looks like right now. And as part of our series, what maybe free agency could mean for the Lions from a tight end perspective.
Well, what did you talk about I want to hear what you talked about on your show, Jake. What's your perspective? We never usually ask you, but let's hear it.
That is true. I am a big Sam Laporta fan, and I can't wait to see what Petzing and the rest of the offensive masterminds do to utilize him when he's fully healthy. And that's the name of the game, is staying healthy. And you hope with, and I'm certainly no doctor nor qualified to even speculate on the back injuries, but I feel like a back injury is way different than a turned ankle, or even, I mean, heck, now even ACL, MCLs, guys repair those, no problem. It's like Tommy John surgery in baseball. So the back injury, the potential for it to reappear and be lingering is a little bit scary, but not to the tune where I'm ready to ship Sam Laporta out and rebuild that tight end room by any means. But shocker, Riepma likes his own, the Lions, his own guys. So let's hear from the business perspective, the emotional Bradford Banta.
Okay. So a couple of things we have to take into consideration here. And it was interesting. I was reading something that Drew Petzing said in an interview as of late. And whenever he was talking about the tight end room. So you do not want to bring in, or you don't want to have a room where you have two tight ends that have the same exact skill set. So he would much rather have, let's say, a tight end room of 3 that each have their own particular skill set. And, then you bring in the aspect of Laporta, and he is a very well-functioning tight end that can complete just about everything that you're looking for out of a tight end. Receiver, check. Blocker, more than better than adequate. I'd say, I wouldn't put him at overpowering, but he'll keep you in a ball me man position, which is all you can ask for out of a productive receiver that he is. He has the ability to stretch the field, especially against the linebacker crews. He has ability. He finds the soft spot in the zones. He has good rapport with golf, and he just fits the mentality of what they're looking for in a Detroit Lion. Is he tradable? You kind of have to go and see, and we're not going to be privy to any of this information. What do the doctors say? So there's, if a trade were to happen, then all trades, it doesn't matter what happens, the David Montgomery trade, any trade that happens, it's once that player passes the physical, then the trade will go through. So not everything's final. Everything can be reported by various sources, all that kind of stuff, but nothing is final until each player that is involved in a trade passes their physical. So, we'll see what happens, but that's going to be the important thing, is how has his rehab, talking about Laporta, how has his rehab been going? If it's been going well, then you're just looking to add ammo to that room by adding a different personality or a different skill set to that room that they didn't have over the previous 2 to 3 seasons. And look, Sam is a very important piece of this offense. And, it's a position that's very near and dear to my heart. And it's a position that I always thought that you needed to have on your team if you wanted to be a successful offense, because tight ends move the chains.
Yep.
They move the chains. That's all you ask for. And if they can add anything else extra, via stretching the field, or, just being a dominant run blocker on top of being a high-end receiver, then it's, you know what, it's check, check, check.
Yeah.
You know, we like this guy.
I would
And-
also, sorry, real quick, just the
No.
tight ends, I feel like too, is that position group that the sky's the limit as far as utilization from a game plan perspective, whether it's one tight end. I mean, we've seen two tight ends be a focal point of many offenses over the course of the history of the NFL. I mean, the one that immediately comes to mind, Gronk and Aaron Hernandez, the late Aaron Hernandez, not to get into all that, but I mean, on the field for that particular time, those two were as good as any, and it was just an unstoppable scheme. It helps having, you know, two of the best players at the position, but the tight end group, it's not like I feel like it's not like a quarterback, it's not like a running back, maybe a little bit. You can utilize multiple, but you really can just you're at the disposal of being able to utilize multiple tight ends at one time, which is huge.
Yeah, no, it's you know, look, you're not going to find another position that lines up next to a tackle, could line up off the ball, possibly run the ball, obviously run routes, split out. He has to know, on top of the quarterback, the tight end has to know run blocking, pass routes, be able to split out, know the wide receiver routes, line up in the backfield, no protection from the backfield. So you're talking about a Swiss Army knife in your offense. And if you have a group of three guys, I was very fortunate my first couple of years in the league. Whenever I was in Indianapolis, we had a good group of guys, and one of them was Ken Dilger, and the other one was Marcus Pollard. And, you know, both of those guys ended up playing, you know, along with myself, ended up playing double-digit years in the league. But, you know, it was just everybody had their role, and everybody understood their role. And we just melded together very well, and we were able to be productive for the Colts. And I know that's what the Detroit Lions are looking for whenever they're putting together this tight end room. And, you know, you can go out and, you know, you're talking about possible free agents. You know, you're talking about Likely from the Ravens, Joku from the Browns, or Goddard. You know, we'll see. But everything depends on how Laporta's rehab is going. And that's the pivotal part on how they move forward, because there's a couple other things that the Lions have to concentrate on if Laporta's rehab is going well.
Couple other names that we didn't throw out on the top 10, you know, free agent tight ends available. Kyle Pitts, let's see, Zach Ertz, Darren Waller, Tyler Higbee, Noah Fant, Austin Hooper, and Durham Smythe. So those were the top 10 names currently that are out there on the market. But to your point, if his injury is fine and he gets back to who he is, the Lions do have a lot more things to put at the forefront than addressing the tight end room.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, there were some really good tight ends at the combine this year.
Yeah.
Like, I think the tight ends, if you were to show somebody who's not, you know, watched a lot of football growing up, and you just pointed out the tight, that's, I think, who the position group people would be like, wow, these are freak athletes and they're big. They always had that combination. I was looking at Eli Stowers out of Vanderbilt. Another interesting story, because he was a quarterback coming out of high school, and a lot of these big quarterbacks end up getting moved to tight end, and they have kind of that athleticism naturally from playing quarterback their whole lives, and then it's an easy transition into the tight end position. But I think Stowers ran like a 4, maybe it has it on here, but he ran fast, kind of more of that like explosive, focusing on wide receiver as their best skill set within that tight end group. But all that to say it's a fun conversation. And when you get breaking news live on a Locked On Lions squad show, sometimes you get a little bit behind, and that's where we are right now. So I'm going to have to, naturally here, just pull the plug on the segment, and maybe we'll talk a little bit more about it and continue that as we close it out here on the Locked On Lions Squad show. Emotional Bradford. Hey, we got to keep the lights on here on the Locked On Lions Squad show. Today's show is brought to you by Game Time. How about that, sports fans? Game Time. All right. If you want to get to a game live, Game Time is the only option, and it's the best option. There is no doubt about that. We live in a world where we can stream anything, order food in minutes, carry supercomputers in our pockets, and somehow buying tickets to a live game still feels complicated. Why? Well, there's hidden fees, jumping prices, endless steps. There's got to be a better way. That's why I use the Game Time app. It gives fans the advantage and makes getting tickets simple, whether it's NFL games, concerts, comedy, tours, whatever you're into. You jump into the app and you check out what tickets are for an upcoming game, show, whatever it is. And in minutes, you can see panoramic views from every seat before you buy. The price you see is the price you pay. What a concept. No surprise fees at checkout. And I also love the spot zone deals where you pick the section and Game Time picks the seat for extra savings. Just a couple of taps and you have great seats locked in, fast, easy, done. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets, download the Game Time app, create an account, use that code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. The sad live Locked On Lions Squad show is coming to an end, although I'm reading a lot more multitasking, something I'm not very good at, so bear with me. A lot of the reaction very positive from Lions Twitter, at least the algorithm. I always say, it just depends on what the algorithm's feeding you. I'm sure there's a ton of negative comments out there too, or sad or whatever it is, but big time trade. And if you're just joining us live, well, we talked about it. We were live when it happened. And that's why you subscribe. And that's why the audio only version of today's show will be available wherever you get your podcast on the #1 podcast platform, the Locked On Podcast Network. Somebody take over. Somebody take over. I didn't cue anybody up. I just ran out of steam. So somebody take over.
Jake just crashed out.
No, I did, just kind of as a cherry on top, just kind of a combine wrap up and going along with the, with the tight end theme that we've been talking about over the last, I'd say 10, 15 minutes, talking about that. Just other guys that kind of stood out at the combine from the tight end room was, Kenyon Sadiq, obviously, I mean, the guy ran a 4.39.
Yeah, insane.
He's insane. So other guys that kind of stood out was Sam Rush from Stanford. A bigger big type dude, guy. Right? Yeah, 6'6", 267. Yeah, 267. The kid from Max Clare.
I was just
Ohio
about
State.
to, but I was.
6'7".
So,
he's totally crashing out right now.
Yeah.
Okay, we need.
Max Clare, Ohio State, and then Martin Klein from Michigan, another big kid, 6'6", 248, and then Nate Burkhardt, so from Texas A&M, 6'6", 245, and then Tanner Koziol from Houston, 6'6" and a half, 247 pounds. So those are other guys that kind of stood out at the combine as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, no, this is terrible hosting by me, and I meant to bring it up sooner. But Brock Wright, I forgot to bring his name up just as the secondary tight end that, when healthy, was very productive. But again, he was like everybody else for the Lions this year, seemingly banged up by injuries. And so again, this is hand up bad on me. But is he in the mix health wise? I guess I can't remember hearing or reading anything. It just quite literally popped into my head. as we close out the Locked On Lions squad show.
Yeah, I have not heard anything concerning Brock. So just trying to do a quick check right now just to see what they're saying. I mean, he was, let's see. He did well. I mean, he's okay. So he's dealing with a neck injury.
Okay, yeah, another one of those lingering ones.
Yeah, I mean, so you're dealing with the spine again. So, I don't know if they need to change the water in the tight end room as far as not dealing with the spine. So we just need to, switch it up. Maybe it's, maybe they switch over to Propel. I don't know what they do. So we'll see.
Propel, how Gatorade does water.
Right.
No free plugs here. All right, we're overtime. Love the Locked On Lions squad show. Love you guys. Loved all the fans, all the famous ones that are the people that have made us famous, like Bradford Banta getting recognized at the gym. I leave you with this, though. Maybe we'll talk about it on Thursday because you guys know I love these types of conversations.
Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Oh, yeah. See, I was just seeing if you guys were paying attention. We love. Is there more breaking news coming Wednesday, Nat? Is that why you have us on Wednesday, potentially?
TBD.
I like it.
Keep you guys on the edge of your seats.
Do we need to go early? Do we need to go early?
Let me call my people. I'll let you know.
All right.
Yeah, Nat's people will get back to our people.
As my daughter would say, preach. So,
Preach.
But the little tidbit, Albert Breer says he expects a Max Crosby trade could come as early as this week. So, but the Lions are not listed as one of the teams that could be in on it. So he says Dallas, Chicago, Baltimore, Buffalo, New England, Philadelphia, and the Rams are keeping tabs on his availability. So
don't throw out Tampa Bay.
Ooh, I love that.
Okay.
All right. David Montgomery traded.
Gone.
Texans. Again, I should have the Green Day music queued up to send us off on an eventful live Locked On Lions squad show on a Monday. For Bradford Banta, Natalie Kerwin, my name is Jake Riepma. Make sure you check out the audio-only version wherever you get your podcasts, and of course on the #1 sports podcast platform, the Locked On Podcast Network. And we will talk to everybody on Wednesday. Thank you all for your comments, participation. It's always a blast on the Locked On Lions squad show. See you next time.